Joining me now on set is Tia Mitchell, Washington correspondent for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, Democratic strategist Adrian Elrod, and Republican strategist Brad Todd. Thanks so much to all of you for joining me for an extensive panel throughout the hour. Really appreciate it. Tia, I want to start with you. You heard Kayla talk about how jittery the White House is when they think about what could happen in Europe, when they think about the possibility of gas prices rising here. Now, she pointed out, look, gas prices may not start to rise for several months because of this decision by OPEC, but is the mere concern that they're going to rise, could that possibly have an impact on the midterms?
I think the mere concern and also just the short term, in the graphic you showed, gas prices are starting to inch back up just a little bit. And all of that is bad news for President Biden because he has been taking credit for the prices coming down. And so now you will expect Republicans to blame him for any fluctuation going the other way. And then they're also blaming him for not, using those partnerships with Saudi Arabia to try to, avoid this decision that OPEC made. So you're already seeing those attacks starting to happen.
Yeah, you talk about that controversial trip to Saudi Arabia, that fist bump, Adrian, that got criticism and some backlash at the time. And the president is saying, look, that trip didn't have to do with oil, but certainly that was the backdrop. Do you think that a trip like that is now backfiring? Those optics are backfiring again at a critical moment for the president and Democrats.
Yeah, perhaps. I don't know how much that fist bump is penetrating into the living rooms of American families who are seeing their gas prices go down and then go up a little bit more. But I think what matters the most here, Kristen, is that President Biden talk about the accomplishments that he's done as president to try to lower costs for American families. Of course, passing the Inflation Reduction Act, historic clean energy investments that we've never seen before. So much to talk about in that bill. I think as long as he goes out there and says, listen, I'm doing what I can. I just released 10 million more barrels from the SPR today. I have worked to lower gas prices. I will continue to stay on this. But we also have to be reliant on our own clean energy sources here in the United States. And I also put money where my mouth is, and I passed a bill that will do just that.
Brad, what do you make of this moment? Because a couple of weeks ago, we talked about the fact that Republicans are actually pulling back from focusing solely on inflation and gas prices. They're starting to talk, for example, a whole lot about crime. Do you think we're going to see that shift again in these closing weeks?
I think you will. It didn't have to be this way. When Joe Biden was elected, gasoline was about $2 a gallon in America. By Election Day this year, it's going to be about $4 a gallon. That's something every American can understand. Didn't have to happen this way. Joe Biden's first week in office, he had sweeping executive orders that sent a chilling message to investment in oil and gas, and it plummeted as a result. We don't have to go overseas for oil and gas. We have enough oil and gas here, but we have to have a president who's committed to exploration and committed to production. Joe Biden's not.
Mm-hmm. Adrian, you want to respond quickly? And then
I respectfully disagree because, again, President Biden has passed 4 major economic bills, including the Inflation Reduction Act, which does more than any other legislation that's ever been passed to address the clean energy crisis that we have in this country, to make it more clean energy jobs and invest in more clean energy technologies. He's making it very clear that we cannot just rely on oil to fuel us. We've got to rely on clean energy investments, and he has done that without any Republican support.
But you can't put a windmill in your gas tank. It was a mistake to do what he did in 2021. He got way ahead of himself on clean energy transition, which he promised the Elizabeth Warren wing of the party. But the fact of the matter is we have to have oil and gas. We have to have refineries. We have to have them in the United States of America, or else we're going to be begging Venezuela.
He's also done a lot to invest in environmentally more friendly vehicles and electric vehicles.
This continues to be really the debate of our time, and an ongoing debate, not just on the campaign trail, but in every election and as the country thinks about how to move forward. I do want to, as we talk about the closing arguments that Democrats and Republicans are making, play a soundbite from you from the DCC chairman, Sean Patrick Maloney. Take a listen. This was his reaction to the Saudi move. I'm going to get everyone's reaction on the other side.
On gas prices, the president has released 90 million barrels from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. We're going after the big oil companies for price gouging, and we're increasing domestic and international supplies. Now, that's a plan. The other side is trying to exploit these frustrations. But look, at what we disagree on is also your reproductive freedom. So while we agree that prices are too high and we need to do something about it, the fact is the Republicans disagree that you should make personal health care decisions for yourself and have ripped away 50 years of reproductive freedom.
Tia, boy, that was a sharp left turn right back to abortion, which is clearly what Democrats want to be talking about. do they run the risk of over-focusing on that issue, which is clearly energizing for a number of voters?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think it's overreaching, but I think Democrats know that voters' number one concern is those economic issues. It's prices going up, it's inflation, it's the money they pay at the grocery store. So I think, yes, Democrats want to focus on abortion because for them that's a winning issue. You know, abortion restrictions are unpopular. But they know they can't avoid these economic issues, and that's what makes it harder if prices are not going the way Democrats and voters want.
Well, absolutely. I mean, Adrian, does it feel like he was trying to avoid that central issue by pivoting so aggressively to abortion?
That was a pretty strategic pivot right there. No, but I think, look, you got to follow up by saying this is what we have done. 4 major economic bills, including the Inflation Reduction Act, which lowers costs for American families, historic, job creation, clean energy jobs, lowering your prescription drug costs, et cetera. You've got to follow it up with that. But I will say this, Kristen, if you look at the closing ads that we're seeing in a lot of states, especially from Democrats, they are on abortion. Why? Because it works. And I do agree with you that, yes, the number one issue may be inflation and cost for families. But when you are an independent swing voter and you're looking at a 6-3 Supreme Court for not just the next 2 years, but potentially the next 15 or 20 years, it is making people realize that we have the power of our vote. That is the only influence we have, which is why, again, abortion, reproductive rights is such a huge issue this cycle.
Brad, what is the reality check about how jittery Republicans are about this near singular focus on that issue, which has been energizing?
Well, first off,
like Kansas and the special election in New York.
The Senate battlegrounds is really a microcosm of the country. It's 7 states that were decided by 2 points or less in the last presidential election. They're all closely fought states. Both parties could plausibly claim that they have a strategy to win in all those states. But in the end, independent voters decide what the election's about. Congressman Maloney's not going to pick it, and other candidates aren't going to pick it. The voters decide, and independents in particular decide. And right now, they're telling us their election's about inflation.
Let me just have you all weigh in very quickly. The White House just announced it is pardoning all federal offenses of simple marijuana use. Tia, how's this going to play with swing voters?
I think this is another pretty populist decision. It's going to play very well to Biden's base and those people who he doesn't want to stay home because they've decided, we put him in office and he's not doing what we want. But I do think independents, we know that marijuana now, its usage, its medicinal purposes is pretty, again, popular among all segments. Even the libertarian wing of the Republican Party has been pushing for this. So I think it will be popular.
All right, we'll have to wait and see. We're going to leave it there because we do have a lot more to discuss, and the panel's sticking around, which is so great, guys. Thank you, Tia, Adrian, and Brad.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.